unang umalis si Nay, hindi ko na maalala. Ayoko na balikan.
Ilang ulit na nga bang halos maubos itong luha sa paghabol
At pagpigil sa iyong muling pagkisan.
The Philippines is a nation of vast natural resources, a land of beautiful landscapes and friendly faces. One of its most exploited resources is its people. The country is Asia's leading supplier of labor migrants to 193 countries worldwide. There is no doubt that the country has benefited from the fruits of labor of the OFW or overseas Filipino worker.
Kaya nung sabi sa akin ng kapatid ko, baka gusto mong pumunta rito para makapagtrabaho. Sabi ko, oo, para siyempre hindi naman nakakaya sa inyo na lagi na lang umaasa sa padala. Sabi ko, para din makatulong ako sa inyo.
Sobrang saya ko na hindi ko kinikita dito, tapos bigla akong kumita ng malaki, tapos ngayon lang mararanasan ng mga bata. Yun, padala agad ako.
But it cannot also be denied that the Filipino migrant worker phenomena has changed the Filipino family.
Ang hirap. Sabi nila kasi, pag nag-abroad ka raw, 3 months lang makaka-recover ka. Yung sa homesick. Hindi totoo yun.
Around 8 million Filipinos are working or living abroad. 72% or almost 6 million of them are women.
Children have a different level of acceptance or tolerance of migration depending on their cognitive development. Children 0 to 5 years old tend to accept migration as a form of abandonment, probably because the bonding between the parents, especially the mother, has not yet that established. But children 6 to 16 years old, especially adolescent children, according to psychologists, have more of a resentment or intolerance of mothers and even fathers migrating because of the bonding that has been established.
Yung dalawa kong anak, sabihan ako lumaki. Parang mahirap man sabihin, pero ito'y totoo. Parang malayo ang loob. Pero itong dalawang naging anak namin na dito ko inianak sa Pilipinas na kami ang nag-aruga, kami ang nagpalaki. Mahal na mahal kami.
The Atikha Overseas Workers and Communities Initiatives was established in 1996. It started with a research on the impact of migration on the families left behind.
The study confirmed that the separation brought about by migration has brought psychosocial problems on the families, especially the children left behind. After the study, the people whom we interviewed asked, "What's next? Will just this remain as a research?" So the challenge was taken on by the people who now form the board of Atikha.
Organizing is never an easy task, but for Atikha, they had to contend with the issue of denial or ignorance of the difficult realities brought about by migration, both on the OFWs and their families.
Filipinos had and continue to have an overwhelming positive impression of the economic impact of migration.
Back then, many were either unaware, unconvinced, and unconcerned on the social cost of migration.
Addressing the social cost of migration, especially the plight of the children of overseas Filipino workers, was not a priority even of government and development agencies.
An estimated 9 million under the age of 18 are affected by the migration of their parents or guardians.
Namimiss ko yung mami ko kasi yung mami kong, siya yung pinaka-importanting tao sa buhay ko or nanay.
Wala po akong kaalam-alam sa kanya. Yung para po bang hindi ko man lang siya nararamdaman. Hindi ko man lang nararamdaman yung pagmamahal niya sa akin.
For children, The emotional aspect that goes along with parents leaving, especially for long periods of time, often leads to displacement, disruptions, and difficulty in coping with changes in caregiving arrangement. The extended Filipino family, however, allows for relatives to look after the children left behind.
Nung siya umalis, bali pinalagaan na lang namin sa mga nag-aalaga lang ng ibang tao kasi nga yung magulang ko nasa ibang bansa rin.
Ang tawag nga sa kanyang ina tita Karen na lang po ma'am. Ganun talaga ang tawag sa kanya. Yun pang kanyang ina ang naiyak. Kasi bakit ganun, hindi na siya kilala ng kanyang anak.
Ang paglilingkod ko sa kanila ay talagang 4 po yan, nahirap ako. Dahil akin lahat. Wala po namang iba mag-iintindi niya kundi ako lang.
The surrogate care does not erase the children's longing for the physical presence, love, and care of their biological parents. Aside from long-term separation, another reality that affects the children of migrants is remittance.
Oftentimes, parents try to cope with the separation from their children by replacing their physical presence with material things. The sad part is, the material things do not really make up for their absence. Instead, it promotes consumerism, materialism, and overdependence on their remittance. Children grow up still expecting financial and material support from their parents abroad, even when they are old enough to earn a living or have families of their own.
Even when most children find themselves lost, there are those who are resilient enough to cope with the realities of migration.
There are children who are able to positively cope with migration. They are able to excel in class. They are able to maintain the relationship with their parents despite the distance. And actually, based on our observations, there are 2 things why the children are able to cope. One is they are aware of the difficult situation of their parents abroad. And 2, they have a very nurturing caretaker that is left to take care of them.
Some of this, of course, is the advent of techie parenting. Parents who are abroad who make sure and ensure that they communicate with their children on a regular basis through cell phones, webcams, and other techie gadgets or modes of parenting tend to cope well with the reality of migration, although of course there's nothing that replaces personal bonding with a child. So ensuring also that you have regular vacations, especially for those OFWs who have longer contracts, ensuring that they go visit their children in the Philippines would really help their children cope well with migration.
Ito po yung mga medal po, pinagsisikapan po namin na amin po makuha yung mga award pong yan para po naman si Papa po matanggal po yung pagod sa Saudi.
Mag-iimpok po ako ng pera para po pag si Papa po umuwi na sa Pilipinas. Tapos po magninegosyo po kami para po hindi na po si Papa pumunta sa Saudi.
These insights from the children provide hope that the next generations need not dream of a life away from home. It is in the hope that these children provide that Atikha anchors its programs. Working with migrants, their children, and their communities for more than 10 years has helped Atikha craft relevant and effective interventions. Atikha works with families of migrant workers in San Pablo, Laguna and Mabini, Batangas. The Atikha Overseas Workers and Communities Initiatives continues to address the issues being faced by migrant workers and their families with relevant intervention. Atikha believes that taking action now with the future generation can help address the challenges brought about by the social cost of migration, especially the dependency on the earnings of the overseas Filipino.
Addressing the issues to the overseas Filipinos alone is not enough. We have to involve their families as well. We also have to address not only the economic problems, but also the social problems of the family, because this is usually what drains the resources of the OFW. And we also have to include the communities where they are coming from, because if we do not provide economic opportunities in these communities, they will always be migrating because there will be no jobs that can be acquired here in the Philippines. So this required the involvement not only of the overseas Filipinos and their families. We need to involve the various stakeholders in the community, including the government.
Atikha's intervention programs reflect these key strategies. The Migration Reality Seminar provides the children and other members of the family with a realistic view of migration, the positive as well as the negative impact of migration.
If they know the realities of their parents abroad, according to the guardians, they can observe from the children that they start helping in housework, they are studying well in school, they develop new perspective in looking at the situation of their parents abroad, and they don't feel abandoned. They value and appreciate the hard work and sacrifices of their parents, and they save money. They become responsible children.
Kung last na daw po napadala ng papa, ano daw po yung hihilingin? Yung parang madami nga pong bata doon na may kanya-kanya po silang hiningi. Pero po sa akin, yung papel po na dodrawingan po namin, parang wala po akong dinrawing doon kahit po isa. Para po kasi sa akin, sign po yun na kung pahuli din naman po, bakit ko pa po papabilihin pa po si Papa ng material na bagay? Kung yung presence lang po ni Papa yung kailangan.
The family and peer counseling, as part of Atikha Psychosocial Services, are continuing activities to help the families.
Oftentimes, children do not confide to adults. They share their problems to their friends. It is important that the children are guided on how to listen and respond to their friends who are ventilating their problems. It is also important that the children know when to refer their friends for professional help.
The Bridging the Gap seminars help the children identify problems of communication and guide them in addressing their issues and concerns.
We are conducting seminar to identify problems of communication of the children with their parents. For example, we have a workshop called Family Constellation, wherein the children are asked to illustrate how far or how close they are from other members of the family using the different heavenly bodies. We have a case wherein one of the participants has drawn her mother at the back of her paper.
In the Philippines, taking care of the family is a woman's role, and when it is the mother who is migrating, the burden of taking care of the family lies on the shoulder of the daughters. The Gender Sensitivity Seminar sensitized the children and other members of the family on the equal responsibilities of men and women in doing housework.
My dad, siya na po kung yung sinasabi na house band, siya na talaga yun. Kasi siya yung nagluluto para sa amin. Natutuwa naman ako dahil natuto siyang kahit maglaba, naglalaba na rin siya, naghugas ng pinggan. Tulong-tulong kami.
The Hagdan-Hagdang Pangarap seminars enable children to appreciate the hard work of their parents and give value to education, family relations, and the importance of working with their migrant parents to reach their dreams. The capacity building programs for children include the Leadership Skills Training Program teaches the children of migrants to be group facilitators and leaders. The Batang Atikha Savers Club, a laboratory cooperative, instills savings consciousness and is an integral part of Atikha's savings mobilization campaign.
Simula po nung sumali ako sa Atikha, naging mas maganda pa po yung pananaw ko sa buhay, tapos naging mas mapahalaga pa po ako sa pera, tsaka natuto po ako makisama.
Interventions of Atikha does not only involve children but also the OFWs and their caretakers. The Overseas Filipinos, Seafarer, and Family Financial Literacy Seminar help the migrants and their families do goal setting, financial planning, and assess investment opportunities. The Financial Literacy Seminar also includes the discussion of family issues that drains their resources, which hinders investment and reintegration.
We have conducted numerous financial literacy among OFWs and seafarers together with their families. And one of the biggest problems they are confronted with is the lack of savings despite years of work abroad. And this is because of the growing dependency. and the luxurious lifestyle of the families here in the Philippines.
Atikha also mobilizes and links the resources of the overseas Filipinos towards local economic development. It leverages these resources with local government to achieve greater impact on sustainable community development. The future can be brighter for children of migrant workers, their families, and communities.
The various interventions of Atikha were made possible through the support of various development agencies. The challenge for Atikha right now is replicating the experience of Atikha in areas with very high concentration of overseas Filipinos. How to capacitate other NGOs, government organizations, so that they may be able to do what we are doing here in Laguna and Batangas. Another challenge is quantifying the social cost of migration. How do you really put financial values on the social cost? Because right now, this is not being taken seriously. Oftentimes, we are being challenged that there is no social cost because what are being written are just anecdotes. So the challenge is, how do we quantify this and put financial values so that policymakers will take this seriously, and even the migrants themselves?
This can be done if agencies such as POEA, OWA, and local government units would replicate the programs being done by Atikha. If the DepEd, the Department of Health, and other agencies such as the Department of Labor will make sure that all local government units will make good use of remittances, will make sure that all schools, all communities pay attention to the children of migrant workers as they do for other children in their local government units.
Kasi po ayaw ko po nandun siya.
Pwede naman pong hindi siya umalis. Dito na lang po magtrabaho. Para po kahit paano po makikita po namin araw-araw.
Mas gusto ko pang nandito siya kasi kung hindi siya umalis, wala sana siyang naging ibang pamilya.
Mas gusto ko pong nandito. Ikaso no choice po.
Gusto ko po kasi na yung pagtanda po nila, pagsisilbihan po namin sila.
Hindi naman kami mayaman. So, ang maipapamana lang namin niya sa amin ay yung edukasyon na pwede namin gamitin para guminhawa yung buhay namin isang araw.
Much has been said about children being the future of the nation. They are the ray of hope. And for Atikha, it is critical that their light not be diminished, but be made brighter and stronger for the country's next generation. Tanging mga anak lang ang tunay na dahilan sa pangingibang bayay makipagsapalaran. Hirap, dusa at lungkot ay pinagtiisan, ngunit umuwing luhaan, anak din ang dahilan. Ang buhay bilang migrante tulay na nakapagtataka. Kayod dito, kayod doon, ngunit wala din pala. Mga pamilyang naiwan, bakit tila walang saya sa kabila ng maraming perang ipinapadala? Ang tanging masasabi sa mga kababayan na nais magtrabaho bilang isang dayuhan, isang katotohanang hindi sa abroad lamang ang tanging kasagutan ng ating kahirapan. Sa mga kababayang nagsipagbalikbayan, mga matay idilat sa katotohanan, na sa sariling lupa mo lamang madarama, masayang pagsasama sa hirap at ginhawa.